Alright, check this out. I've been doing some work on the docks over here. We've now got an actual dock with a loading ramp. So this is where ships can come in, bringing supplies to the island. We've also got a little parking lot over here. This building, which I have actually updated a little bit, you can see this is gray concrete now. This is supposed to be sort of the dock administration building. So it's got a little parking lot out front, and the road will lead off in this direction. But on top of that, I've been working on this area. As you can see, I've flattened it out. And it's quite a big open space. Yeah, the underside here is not done. We need to finish the terrain down to the river here. But at least we have a spot to build. But what are we going to build here? Well, I have a plan. Our park is going to need some transportation. And right now, walking by foot is the only way to get anywhere. So in this area right here, we're going to build our first train station. That's right, there's going to be a rail network throughout the entire island so that you can get on a train and travel anywhere you want to in the park. But if we're going to have a train, first step is to get some train tracks, and that's something we can do with the create mod. As you can see, to make train tracks we need 2 nuggets applied to a stone slab and then smashed with a little smashficator. Now if we're going to mass produce train tracks, we need a factory to do so. The factory will have to have a supply of iron and stone and a system for automatically creating train tracks. And I think we're going to do that over in this area behind the rocket factory, since this is sort of shaping up to be our industrial district for the park. So I guess I better start clearing out some of this land. There we go. Brand new factory building with plenty of space for machines inside. Speaking of machines, let's go get some components. Actually, one thing I do want to make is some goggles, because these will allow us to see the exact values of our stress units and stuff. Alright, I've set up the water wheels, so we should have a power source once we actually add the water. There we go, and they're working. And we'll fill it all up with water. Each of these produces 512 stress units, so we should end up with a good amount of power here. There we go. We have reached full power. Alright, so I've put it through a rotational speed controller now at 120 RPM. So we now have rotational power at a good speed that we can use for our machines. So the next thing I'm going to do is attach this to a conveyor belt leading over to here. We're going to encase that. So we're going to put the stone slabs into storage right here. They're going to get spat out onto this conveyor belt. And then we're going to place 2 mechanical hands. And then we've got a smashficator here. So it gets iron nugget, and smash. I'm going to connect these all together with chain drives. And then we're going to transfer the power. Up to here. And there we go. This is fundamentally the mechanism. We could just put a stone slab on here, give an iron nugget to each of these, and we would get a train track. And we're going to do this. First of all, we're going to set the filters for each of these to iron nuggets. And then we're going to put chutes on top with barrels on top of those. And then we're going to put a barrel here and one here. And these brass funnels should allow the slabs to come out of here and the train tracks to go into here. So theoretically this works. We're going to test it. I've got some iron nuggets, which are going in here, and I've got stone slabs here. This should make train tracks. Yes! There we go. Train tracks are appearing in this barrel. The other thing we need to make a train is train casing. That requires a brass casing with a sturdy sheet applied to it. Now, sturdy sheets require powdered obsidian with lava squirted onto it and then smashficated twice. Powdered obsidian requires obsidian to be crushed between crushing wheels. So clearly, we've got a few more machines we need to make. As you can see, we also have 13,000 remaining stress units because I connected our water wheel systems. You can see I ran a line under the ground here, which connects up through some chain drives to our other water wheels. So the rocket factory and our new factory over here share power. So it turns out making crushing wheels isn't as simple as you'd think, because we need a huge mechanical crafter array in order to even do it. We have 13 mechanical crafters. We're going to need 8 more, which means we need 8 brass casings, which we have, and 8 electron tubes. Oh, and we actually needed less because it makes 3 at a time. Well, let's try to install these crafters and connect them to our power. I think I'm going to do it on this side, so like this. There we go, that's our crafting grid. And then we've got to get the power across the room, and bam. Now I just have to configure all of these to point the right way. There we go, so everything should be deposited right here. This should work. If I put stone in the middle, planks around, and then andesite alloy on the outside. There we go. 2 crushing wheels. So very quickly I've now set up a little crushing system so we can put in our obsidian up here, and it becomes powdered obsidian. And we get some of it back as well. Yeah, look at that. We got 18 powdered obsidian out of just 7 blocks. Alright, and a little bit later, I've got this whole thing set up. So we should be able to put our powdered obsidian in here and get sturdy sheets in here. So we've got this tank, which is going to get filled with lava. Lava gets pumped through this pipe into the spout. The spout squirts it on here, and then smash and smash. But in order to make this actually happen, we need lava. And I know of a lava pool. There it is. We're going to grab a bunch of this. And through the use of a drain, we can transfer our lava into here 1 bucket at a time. There we go, we now have 11,000 millibuckets of lava. So if we grab our powdered obsidian and put it in here, look at that! We now have sturdy sheets. So now I've got some brass casings. We should be able to just apply these sturdy sheets to them. There we go. Bunch of train casings. So we now have everything we need to build trains. But of course, this project involves a little bit more than that, because we actually have to build the train station as well. And I have a design for it already, but I need to gather a bunch of materials. This should be more or less everything I need, so let's build a train station. It didn't actually take too long. The interior is very much not done. To be honest, I'm not really sure what I am going to do. What is the inside of a train station supposed to look like? I don't know, but I'll figure it out. Anyway, there it is. Our first train station. I also have to finish the roof here. This is just very basic. I'm going to make it more like this roof over here. And there's some general detailing to be done around the station. We've got the beginning of a tunnel here. going into the hillside, and we're going to probably build a bridge going this way across the river. But right now, I want to actually start building the train itself, and that's going to require some materials that we don't currently have. So let me gather up the stuff we need. Ow, smacked my face. And then we will build a train. Alright, I got some stuff here, and I have a train station, which we'll need to attach to the track. We'll put the station itself right here for now, and then we should be able to go create a new train and do this. There we go. And then another one right there, I think. And we're gonna start building our train. So that's the base of our carriage. And then we're gonna start building up the walls here. I love how easy it is to place these copycat panels. We're actually going to do these as glowstone, because that'll be the headlights. Now, this is something I'm wondering. Will the glass connect? Yes, it will. With these framed glass doors, they slide open very nicely. And the backside here is going to be in oak. And we're going to use a brass door in the middle. And we're going to go up to the top and place a layer of these. And then we're going to cover off the roof. And really, that's kind of it for one carriage. This end with the big window and the headlights is going to be on either end of the train, so we can go whatever direction we want. And this side with the door will be in between carriages. And looking at the length of the platform, we can probably fit at least 4, maybe 5 carriages. So let me go ahead and build the rest of them. And there it is, we've got our train. Everything's been glued together, but before we actually assemble the train officially, we're gonna do something that I'm sure you guys have all been waiting for. We're gonna name the dinosaurs. Alright, so we're gonna name one parasaur Harry. That was suggested by a couple people. The other one is gonna be called Paris. The Pachycephalosaurus is going to be called Paquito. We're gonna name the compies Cosmo and Cordelia. So here we go, Cosmo, there's Cooper, and this one will be Cordelia. And then we'll do Perry, Paquito over here, and Paris, who is hanging out in the woods. So with that taken care of, let's now assemble our train. We just need to make train controls. We're gonna put those right at the front here, and assemble train. So this should now work. If we sit down, and we control, yes! Look at this, I'm driving the train. I don't want to go off the end of the track though. How do you park? There we go, we arrived. And when we stop at the station, all the doors open, which is perfect. You can just walk in. There is a gap, but it's not big enough to fall in, so it's totally safe to just walk across. Now what we are going to have to do is enlist some type of creature to be our conductor and actually drive the train on a set schedule. And I'm wondering if it's possible to actually have a dinosaur do that job. But we're going to find that out in a little bit. First, I have to actually finish building this area. We got to do some decorating, got to get the bridge going across here. Whoa, look at that. Turns out you time traveled. Yes, I've been working in this area for quite a while. And this is the kind of work that is difficult to time-lapse, because it's just a matter of laying out what the area is going to look like and fiddling with things and changing things. But I've got this to a point where I'm pretty happy with it. So I raised up this whole area here, which we're going to continue along this way. But that also made me realize we kind of need a platform on both sides, because otherwise how are you supposed to get on the train if you're over here? And then we also need to be able to cross over the train tracks. So I've started this building here, which is going to have an elevator in each side. We're going to mess around with Create Mod to try to make the elevators work. But I've also done this cool little rock arch, which the trains will go underneath. So I've made this bridge using basically just girders and industrial iron. It's not a fancy design, but it's a good enough design. And the tracks are going to continue going off in this direction towards the coast. Our next station is going to be somewhere over here, because I think I want to turn this area into another dock. This is going to be the dock for tourists. This is a dock for supply ships and stuff. This will be the main dock that you arrive on when you come to the park. But in the meantime, I just sorted out the edge of the river here all along this side. So this is not finished, but it's the basic terraforming of what this will look like, as well as a little bit on this side because I had to have the bridge land somewhere. So let's go mess around with some create stuff and see how we can make an elevator. Okay, so my first thought is using a rope pulley, which is very simple to make. We're also going to need a gear shift. We'll probably need a speed controller as well. We'll need a small water wheel. Okay, I think this should be everything we need. So this right here would be the floor of our elevator. Now, if we put a rope pulley, maybe 4 blocks up, hopefully that works. I guess we'll find out. Let's now try to sort out the power. If we could set up the water wheel right here, that would be great. Then in between these, we'll do the gear shift. And we'll set that to, I don't know, this. Now we gotta power the water wheel. Like so, that should work. Now if we put a redstone link down here and set it to the same frequency, now what happens if I activate this? Nothing. So I guess the question, is this gear shift working correctly? Yes, what happens if we put the rope pulley 1 block higher? Okay, let's do just a very bare bones version of this test. If I flick the lever, yes, okay, it goes down. Oh, that's not reversing the rotation, is it? Okay, it's stopping too high because we need to make room for it down there. All right, this should work now. But theoretically, it actually doesn't matter because it doesn't... Now, the other issue with this is we need the control to actually be inside the elevator. Really? I can't just glue this to that? Okay, I've been fiddling around with this elevator for like an hour. Fundamentally, it works fine. Look, if I press this, it goes up, and it stops when it gets to the top. If I press it again, it comes down and stops at the bottom. What I can't figure out is a way to control it as a passenger. Problem with this is that if I press this, yes, it will take me up, but how do I get down? If I'm here, this doesn't do anything because the one at the bottom is still powered. Basically, the problem is how do we power these links in a way that allows you to call the elevator when you need it, regardless of what floor you're on, or have the elevator on some sort of timer where it comes down, stops at the bottom for a few seconds, and then goes up and stops at the top for a few seconds and comes back. I can't figure out how to do either of those things. So at this point, I'm calling the elevator a work in progress. If you guys have any ideas of how to make this work, please let me know in the comments. Anyway, for now, I'm just gonna finish building this area, I guess. Alright, well this area still isn't completely done. I haven't done the interior. I haven't done all this landscaping and stuff. But guys, I've been working on this video for weeks and I need to call it at some point. So for now, the train station is done enough. One other thing we are going to do, though, is try to put a driver in here. And one thing I found in my testing is that not all dinosaurs actually work. For example, I have a Velociraptor here, which I was going to use. But no, you can't do it with Velociraptor. You can put him in the driver's seat and he'll drive the train, but the moment it goes around any type of corner, the raptor dies and it says he was run over by a train. It's something to do with the hitboxes of the dinosaurs. Some of them have a hitbox for the tail, a hitbox for the head, and all that stuff. And it seems like if they have that, it's a no-go. But as long as they're small enough to have just one hitbox, we're good. So having figured that out, I think I know exactly the creature that I want to use. In order to get the DNA, you gotta collect some tar. Alright, there we go. Tar in the analyzer. That should get us some fossils. There we go. Got some tar fossils. We'll put those back in. There it is. That's what I was looking for. That's right. We're going to have a dodo driving our train. I actually went back to the tar pit a second time to get that, so we now have a bunch more Cenozoic creatures, including Megalodon, which is pretty exciting. Now, while that guy is cooking up, I'm going to try to make some chicken essence so that we can grow him up. So I want to get him into the workforce as soon as possible. Of course, I don't have any chicken, though. Well, hello there. Sorry about this. All right, here we go. Chicken soup. Cook it. Bam. Cooked chicken soup. Surrounded with bottles. Chicken essence. And there's our egg. What are you doing here? Oh my god, how did I miss? I'm just gonna hatch him. Oh! Why is he... Okay. Here we go. Are you good? Are you good, bro? His hunger is full. He seems good. Where did he go? Hey, do you want to grow up? Here we go. He's fully grown. Alright, now hold on. Let me get you on a lead here. Alright, now come over here. I'm going to try to get you in this seat. Here we go. Now, there's a couple more things we need to do here. First of all, we need a train schedule, which is made with a sturdy sheet and paper. Alright, let's grab some obsidian, if I have some obsidian, which I do not. Bam, obsidian in the crushers. Powdered obsidian. Pop that in here. Sturdy sheet. Paper. Boom. Train schedule. So this schedule is going to consist of traveling to station. We're going to go west dock. So I have placed another station out there by the water. This is where our stop for the dock is going to be. So we're currently at North Central Station, and the next station is the dock. But very importantly, we're going to give him a name. He's going to be called Mr. Conductor, obviously. And then we're going to give him this train schedule. And there we go. We're off. So he should drive us all the way down to the station at the future dock over here. And sure enough, here we are. Now, he's not going to go anywhere else because, unfortunately, we can't have him continue until the track is a full loop. He can't just go back and forth. So we are going to have to just manually drive back. But we've proved that it works. You can have a dodo drive a train. We just won't get to see it actually happening until we have a full train network sorted out. Which won't be for a little while, okay? But we'll get there. Then we got to approach the station. There we go. All right, good job, Mr. Conductor. This is his home. He's going to live there now forever. The train is his life. Anyway, that's the end of the video, guys. We actually did quite a lot in this one. I've got a lot of ideas for our next projects. So stay tuned. Till then, don't forget to like and subscribe and stuff, okay? Goodbye.